What's going on, everybody? This is Bryant from SneakerFiles.com, recapping the news, and before I jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up, and if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. Now, as far as some of the highlights in this video, did Jordan Brand mess up on the Air Jordan 3 Pure Money? In my opinion, they did, but I'm going to go over more about those later on in the video. As well, a lot of people are causing fear of missing out on the Air Jordan 5 Grape. I'm going to cover that information later on in the video as well. And we also have more from Jordan Brand. But in this video, we have a ton of news from Nike. A lot of new release dates. We have some first looks as well. And then we also have news from Converse, PUMA, and ADIDAS. And now let's jump into the news. Just unveiled the other day is the Adidas Anthony Edwards 1 Low football cleats. So Adidas is turning the AE 1 Low, which is a basketball shoe, into a pair of football cleats. And one of the first colorways comes dressed in white and black. Now the colorway resembles that of the Best of Adi, which is one of the first colorways to be released of the AE1. So up top, everything looks normal, but the true difference is the outsole, which features the Adidas Freak Plate 20, and basically it has cleats for the football field. Other than that, we do have some lime accents, which lands on the branding. Now, as for a specific release date, this pair is expected to drop spring 2026, and currently no retail price. Okay, so you might have seen this information going around, but since I haven't done a news video, there wasn't a lot to talk about previously. I'm going to talk about them now. But some of you may know this, Tyrese Haliburton will release his first signature shoe, the PUMA Hali 1, and one of the first colorways to be released is known as Hibiscus. Now, I did receive information from PUMA. They reached out. This won't be the first colorway to be released. It's one of the first, but they have one other colorway apparently planned to drop before this one. Now for this shoe, it features shades of pink throughout. It also features Puma's nitro foam cushioning and comes with mesh on the upper. Now the midsoles, they feature a wavy design, and then we have Haliburton's logo on the tongue and heel. It also comes with a Puma Big Cat logo, which wraps the side panels. Also, the pair was designed by Salehi Bimberry. Now, as for a release date, unfortunately, we don't have one, but September is when they're expected to drop, and currently, no retail price. So right now, we do have the NBA Finals going on. The Pacers are taking on the OKC Thunder. I'm super surprised the Pacers being up 2-1, but again, it's going to be a long series. Shout out to the Pacers fans. I know there are a lot. Now, I just went over Tyrese Haliburton's upcoming signature shoe, but we have a new colorway of SHAI's signature shoe, the Converse SHAI 001. Now, this pair is known as Masi Blue. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And the inspiration for this pair comes from Masi, his brother. Now, going a little bit deeper than that, which I thought was really funny, growing up, brother would wear a fake pair of Air Jordans in a shade of blue. So I'm going to assume that his fake pair of Air Jordans featured this shade of blue used on the shoe. Now, I am a fan of SHAI's signature shoe. I think it looks really good. It does remind me of the Reebok Answer 4. Maybe that's why I like them. But of course, it has its own touch. And for this particular colorway, unfortunately, we don't have a specific release date, but fall 2025 is when they're expected to drop, and the retail price will be $130. Moving on to Nike, and there was a period of time when Nike was dropping a ton of Nike Field General colorways. They kind of slowed down for a moment, but it looks like they're going to pick back up. Now, one of the upcoming colorways is in collaboration with Sam Kerr. For those that don't know, she is an Australian soccer player. So her pair is known as Be Who You Are. And the official colorway on these is white, black, and orange blaze. But of course, there's more colors used than just what's on the color description. But to go over the pair, it features a cream leather on the upper, as well as synthetic materials. Now we have a shade of blue, which lands on the swoosh logos, trimming throughout inside of the tongue and heel. Now the heel is also unique. It features the Nike branding along with her signature and the number 20, which is her number. And then on the insoles, we have orange and blue with the phrase, "Be who you are." Finishing the design is a milky translucent rubber outsole. So as for a release date, this pair is expected to drop in July. Unfortunately, we don't have a specific one, and the retail price will be $125. In connection with Dot Swoosh, we have an upcoming Nike Total 93. This pair is known as Rage Quit. So this is another sneaker inspired by gaming, specifically online gaming. Now, I know personally, playing online, I have definitely Rage Quit in the past. I played a lot of Halo back in the day. I was decent, but there was times where people would, upset me and I would just quit. And that's just part of it. Anyways, this upcoming pair features a black, apple green, natural, and metallic silver colorway. Now, breaking this pair down, it features black leather on the upper, and then we have the signature quilted-like stitching on the toe. Now, the Swoosh 90 and Total 93 branding are covered in silver, and then adding pop, we have apple green with like a shiny finish on the medial side that expands on the asymmetrical tongue. As well, there's like an electrifying graphic on the medial and insoles. And then the insoles also have a special label which reads, "Your opponent has forfeited the match," and then an OK button. It seems that people are connecting this to FIFA since this is a soccer shoe. But other than that, we have natural on the midsole. It kind of gives it an aged look, and then a mostly black rubber outsole. Now, as for a specific release date, we don't have one, but more than likely they're going to drop fall 2025, which means a release will take place between July and September, and the retail price will be $115. Official photos popped up of the Nike Air Max 1000 Oatmeal. Now, it appears that there is quite a bit of hype for them, but towards the end of the video, I'm going to say the retail price, and then you guys let me know your thoughts. But this is a pair in collaboration with Zellerfeld. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It is a 3D printed shoe, but it also has an air unit. As well, it has elements from the Air Max 1. Now, this particular pair comes dressed in oatmeal, white, and total orange. As you could see, oatmeal covers most of the upper, which has sculpted areas giving it a futuristic look. Now, it does feature a one-piece upper, and then it features the Boss swoosh logos, made in Germany detailing on the liner, air down the heels, and orange within the Air Max unit. Now, I really wonder if these are comfortable. They look kind of comfortable, but I would be curious to try. But I probably won't be picking these up because of the retail price, which is $210. I feel that's a bit steep. And more than likely, the initial rollout will be limited. Anyways, they're expected to drop summer 2025, although the summer season is almost over from Nike. At the end of June, that's when the cutoff is, so technically actual summer for everybody, which starts at June 21st, I believe, and then, rolls for the next 3 months. That's when they'll actually drop, but for Nike's purposes, it'll be for fall 2025. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this pair down below. Heads up for the Levi's Nike Air Max 95 pack. We have a potential release date, and the reason I say potential is because I want to wait until they pop up on the Sneakers app. Assuming they're dropping on the Sneakers app or Levi's comes out and says something. Either way, we have 3 colorways dropping. One in black, anthracite, and gym red. The second in light wood brown, gym red, and white. And then the third will be in obsidian and gym red. Now, as for the release date, all 3 are expected to drop on July 11th. And the retail price seems to be lower than expected. Initially, it was $225 each, but it looks like it's going to be $205. Still waiting on better photos. There's been some images that leaked, which just gives us a preview of them on feet, but hopefully we'll get a better look soon. As most of you know, Kobe Bryant has several upcoming Air Force One Low releases, but Ja Morant is also dropping a couple Nike Air Force One Lows. Now, one of those is known as Sundial, and that is the pair shown. The official colorway is Sundial Black and Cobalt Bliss. Now, I don't see the Cobalt anywhere on the shoe, but we only have the one angle, so it could be somewhere tucked away. But to go over this pair, it features yellow leather on the upper, and then we have Ja's logo embossed by the lateral heel. Now, we also have black patent leather on the swoosh, and then black lands on the tongue, laces, liner, and the heels. And of course, it covers the midsole and the rubber outsole. So since we only have the one image, we can't really tell what else is going on. I'm sure there's some branding on the heel and possibly the tongue and insoles, but we're going to have to wait and see. Now, as for a release date, this pair doesn't have one, but they're expected to drop holiday 2025. And the retail price is said to be $110, but I believe it's going to be a bit higher than that. So another Ja Morant Nike Air Force 1 Low will actually be in collaboration with Swarovski. In the past, Ja's signature line has collaborated with Swarovski. We had 2 pairs of the Ja 2 drop this year, and then I believe a year or maybe even 2 years ago, the Ja 1 was released. Now the images aren't that great. It appears that they're just screenshots of a video, but we can tell what's going on. And the official colorway is black, metallic silver, and cobalt bliss. Now, as you can see, it features black nubuck across the upper, which actually looks premium. Again, it's probably best to have them in hand before saying it's actually premium, but I hope, because you know the retail price is going to be high. Although we don't know what it's going to be at this moment, it should be pretty high. Now, the pair does come with Swarovski crystals on the swoosh logo, heel, and the hang tag, which is Ja's logo. We also have Ja's logo debossed by the heel and 12 AM on the medial side. Lastly, we have a black rubber sole. Now this pair is expected to also drop holiday 2025 and currently no retail price. Official images popped up of the Kobe Bryant Nike Air Force 1 Low Protro soft yellow. Now, these actually released overseas, but in the States, they're expected to drop soon. We do have a release date, which I'll go over in a moment. Now, of course, with the official images, we get to see some different angles. And I talked about this previously, but they're a Protro version, so this pair will actually come with a React X drop-in insole, and that will help with comfort. Now, the insoles itself is really dope. It features Kobe Bryant shooting free throws left-handed after an injury. Also, he's wearing pajamas, which the laces reflect his pajama pants. The pair will also come with a special hang tag, which features the Kobe Bryant shield logo, and then when you open it up, it has some additional details about Protro and Performance Retro and Kobe Protro Air Force 1, kind of explaining what makes it a Protro. And overall, I think this is a nice shoe. Definitely a perfect pair for Kobe Bryant fans. Now, as for the release date, this pair is expected to drop June 24th, although at the time of recording, they haven't popped up on the Sneakers app, and the retail price is said to be $150. It seems that a lot of people are waiting for the release of the Patta Nike Air Max 90 Waves. As you know, there's 2 colorways, although a third pair just popped up, which I'll go over in a moment. Now, the 2 colorways we've seen in the past, they're dope in my opinion, and one pair comes dressed in particle gray, neutral gray, cyber, black, coconut milk, and white. Now, the second pair features particle gray, neutral gray, sapphire, black, coconut milk, and white. Now, more importantly, the 2 have an expected release date of June 23rd. Now, it isn't known if this will be on the Sneakers app, at Patta at the time of recording, but of course, once I have more information, I'll definitely make sure to update you. Now, the retail price will be $155 each. Now, as for the third pair, this one is known as black and particle gray due to the colorway, which is black, particle gray, anthracite, white, and gum medium brown. So it's a lot different in comparison to the other 2. They're not as vibrant. And unfortunately, at the time of recording, it isn't known if this pair is also going to drop alongside the other 2 or how they're going to be released, but it does appear a release is coming. Also, the retail price is $155. It's been a minute since I've talked about the Nike Kobe 6 Protro Total Orange, and recently new images popped up. Now, a lot of people anticipated this pair dropping in June. A lot of people were saying it, but they actually released in July. Also, this pair is said to be inspired by the WNBA All-Star Game, which makes sense because the release date is July 18th, and typically WNBA All-Star Weekend takes place around that time. The colorway also matches the WNBA logo. It features all orange throughout, and then we have metallic silver detailing. Now with this look, I don't see any WNBA branding. Could they have used it? Yes. Could it be on the insoles? Possibly, but we don't have any photos of the insoles. But it appears that this pair is just another that is a tribute, but not an actual like PE or in collaboration. For example, Caitlin Clark has an upcoming pair, or actually she has 2. Jalen Brunson also has an upcoming pair releasing, but it appears that there's no branding or his number or her number branding on the pairs. Now, like I mentioned, the release date is July 18th, and the retail price will be $190. When I did the Air Jordan and Nike release dates video, there was a preview photo of the Nike Air Flightposite 1 Dusty Cactus. Now, the image wasn't that great, but yesterday official images popped up giving us a better look. Now, they're known as Dusty Cactus due to the colorway, which is off noir, white, Dusty Cactus, and Persian violet. Now, as you can see, the upper, the Foamposite shell, features an iridescent finish, which mixes shades of Dusty Cactus and Persian violet. One thing I'm going to tell you right now is if the midfoot plate is anything like the Cell pair, this will definitely be cheap. That chrome finish will get scuffed and scratched. As well, it's like a thin plastic, a very, very thin plastic. So I wouldn't be surprised if they cracked. Now, the insoles also are unique on this pair. It has like this 3D dimensional design, mixing Dusty Cactus and Persian violet. And then the upper, the shroud, is done in black. The branding is outlined in white, and then we have a black rubber outsole. You know, I will say that the colorway on these are nice. It's just that I feel they should have made the midfoot plate black and make it a little more stronger. And of course, the medial side needs to be updated. Anyways, if you're a fan, they drop on June 26th, and the retail price will be $250. We have another classic Nike Air Max 95 returning. Now, this isn't an original colorway, but it is an older pair, and this is the Solar Red iteration. As you know, Nike is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Air Max 95. We've had quite a few releases and quite a few planned, this being one of them. Now, this pair initially dropped in 2011, and then they last released in 2018. I actually have the 2011 pair, which is in pretty good shape. I wore them somewhat recently. But one thing about this pair that I really like, or the 2025 pair, is the larger Air Max unit. So probably not enough for me to pick them up, but I'll have to wait and see them in hand. Anyways, the pair features a black, solar red, medium ash, dark pewter, dust, and granite colorway. Now, like most Nike Air Max 95 pairs, this one also features a gradient upper, which starts out in a lighter shade and gets darker as we get towards the sole. It also comes with white mesh on the overlays, and then white is also used on the laces, tongue, and liner. Now, the true highlight of this pair is solar red. It lands on the swoosh, eyelets, on the inside of the tongue, some additional branding, and within the Air Max unit. Now, as for a specific release date, unfortunately, we don't have one, but fall 2025 is when they're expected to drop, which means the release will take place between July and September. Also, the retail price will be $190. We have a new release date for the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro Moonwalker, also known as Michael Jackson. Now, the official colorway on these is Hyper Grape, White, and Cave Purple, and this is an original colorway, which first launched in 2014. Now, the coolest part about this shoe is the translucent outsole, so underneath, there's a graphic of the moon's surface. But more importantly, let's talk about the new release date. So I believe these were rumored at one point to drop in April, and then they got pushed to July, but now they got pushed again, and the expected new release date is September 10th. So we have quite a bit of time before these drop. And just as a heads up, the images used is the 2014 pair, not the 2025. Also, the retail price will be $210. Now, it looks like Jordan Brand is really pumping out the Air Jordan 14 golf shoes, and I have no idea why. So in the past, we saw the oxidized green pair drop, as well the US Open iteration released. Dropping later this year, we have the Last Shot and a pair known as Bordeaux. But before those other two drop, because those are expected to be released during the holiday 2025 season, we have the Air Jordan 14 Golf Hyper Royal. So if this colorway looks familiar to you, it probably does. But basically what Jordan Brand did is they took the color blocking from the Hyper Royal Air Jordan 14 from 2020 and then placed it on a golf iteration. So really the only difference between the golf and the retail release, one, the obvious being a cleated outsole, but two, the golf version is slightly lower than the mid-top pair. It's like a hybrid between a low and a mid. Either way, the pair features the same color blocking, although we only have the one photo, but it does come with white leather up top with the perforations and ribbing on the panels. And then we have Hyper Royal on part of the midsole and other areas. And then we have black within the Ferrari-inspired emblem, branding, and the midfoot shank plate. You know, I've been on a mission trying to get every Air Jordan 14 that ever has been released. And I didn't want to add the golf shoes, but since I'm like a completionist, I need to have everything. For some reason, I still need to pick them up, but I haven't picked up any yet. And the reason for that is I've been watching and they've been sitting. I'm just waiting for them to go on sale, which does look like it's going to happen eventually. I don't know about the last shot pair. I might have to pick those up right away, but I'm definitely waiting for the price to come down because the US Open pair, I believe, is $255, and that's really high. And then the oxidized green is $230. That's high as well. And then this pair is also $230, so that's pretty high. Anyways, as for a specific release date, unfortunately, we don't have one, but fall 2025 is when they're expected to drop. We now have a first look at the PSG Air Jordan 4 RM. And no offense to the individual who leaked these images. I have nothing against them. Don't know them. But man, these images, this first look is really bad. I hope people who start, getting access to shoes really early, they take better images. Maybe eventually that will happen. Now, the only decent photo of this is the insoles, which are really unique. Now, this pair features an off noir, particle rose, anthracite, and cell colorway. Now, the pair features a mixture of mesh, suede, and leather, and it also comes with a translucent heel overlay with Nike Air branding and then the PSG logo. Now, on the tongues, it reads Paris, and most of the shoe comes in shades of black and anthracite. The midsole somewhat has an aged look, but what's actually dope about this pair is the insoles. So the insoles not only has PSG branding as well as the Jumpman, but it has a photo of the field where Paris Saint-Germain plays and the stands. Personally, I think that's the coolest part about the shoes is definitely the insoles. Now, initially, these were supposed to drop in fall 2025, but it appears they've been delayed until holiday 2025, although that hasn't been confirmed. Also, the retail price will be $160. Official images also popped up of the Air Jordan 5 Grape, and for a lot of people, this is their #1 release in June. Now, for those who don't know, I recently, like 2 days ago, dropped a review on this pair. I also compared them with the 2013. And a lot of people left comments on that video stating that the leather looks shiny. I did mention in the video, I tried my best to alter the lighting so it didn't look shiny because in hand, these aren't a shiny leather. But also it's difficult because I also want the coloring to match what you're actually going to get. So the Grape and New Emerald, I didn't want it to look too flat. I wanted to pretty much represent that video like the best way possible. But there were areas where it did look shiny, and I just want to tell you guys again that don't worry, the leather isn't all shiny. But I will say the leather is plush. It is a lot softer in comparison to the 2013 pair, if anybody was wondering or if anybody cares. But overall, the shape has been updated to mimic the OG pair. And overall, I am happy with the shoe, and I think that they're going to sell well. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, trying to cause panic. There's only 55,000 pairs dropping on the sneakers app. That doesn't mean that the shoe is limited. It also means that the initial wave that they're putting out is 55,000 pairs. There's a lot more pairs that will be available at other retailers, and I wouldn't be surprised if Nike sneakers did a restock or did something bigger down the road. And it doesn't help when you have these IG pages, instilling FOMO, fear of missing out, posting stuff saying they're limited and stuff like that, when honestly, I don't think you should have a big issue getting a pair. Yes, it's an OG colorway. Yes, there is hype for them. But as long as you enter raffles and you wake up early, you should be able to land them. There's a couple YouTubers, and I'm not going to drop names, but I've had issues with them in the past for stealing content of mine without giving credit. Sorry, I don't like to go negative on these videos, but it's worth mentioning. But I have seen them post a lot of, fear type stuff, and they're resellers. I don't think those people should be allowed to even talk about numbers of a shoe or being limited or not, and then offering you the shoes, because it's almost like insider trading, but maybe even worse than that. To me, it's almost scamming because they know that, yes, they're putting out these numbers, but the model isn't truly limited like they're saying. This is only one location to get them. And yes, the sneakers app sells out all the time of shoes that I didn't even think people cared about, but they sell out. But you know what? There's more stores that will have them, and they have plenty of stock. I know some people are going to comment, they're going to ask me if it's this person or if it's this person. More than likely, I'm not going to answer. And depending how I feel, if somebody guesses it, I might just say, yeah, it's him. Anyways, this pair drops on June 21st, and the retail price will be $215. Man, these are so nice in my opinion. We now have on-feed photos of the Air Jordan 5 35th anniversary, also known as medium soft pink. Now, before I move forward, this is a men's release. I do believe they're dropping in full family sizing, but this is not a women's drop. I know a lot of people thought they were releasing or still think that they're dropping exclusively in women's sizing. But recently, on-feet photos did come out of the shoe, giving us a better look. And I do find it weird that they're calling this pair the 35th anniversary, because overall, the model celebrates the 35th anniversary. But one thing I do like about this pair is, of course, the pink detailing. It's basically the same color blocking as the fire red Air Jordan 5, the silver tongue, but instead of red, we have pink. Also, the number 23, the font has been updated to reflect the OG font, well, closer to the OG font. As well, we have Nike Air on the heels, which I'm happy that Jordan Brand is putting more Nike Air branding on non-OG colorways. You know, most of us older people, we only had a certain amount of pairs that were released with Nike Air. But the newer generation, now they can have different colorways with Nike Air. And overall, it looks good in my opinion. Now, one thing I'm kind of questioning why is that the upper on this pair will be 3M reflective, the entire upper. So basically like the Green Bean Air Jordan 5. That part about the shoes I could have done without, but overall I'm definitely happy with the overall look and the blocking. Now, as for the release date, this pair is scheduled to drop on October 11th, and the retail price more than likely will go up, but right now it's $210, but I think it's going to be $215, the same as the Grape Air Jordan 5s. Did Jordan Brand mess up the Air Jordan 3 Pure Money? Let me explain. So the images that we're looking at right now is the supposed first look at the shoes. We've seen many people, leakers, showing off pairs that look pretty much like this. Now, one thing I want you to notice, well, two things, is the elephant print. On the early images, it looks almost like a gray hue in it, even close to silver. Now, the next set of photos come from JD Sports UK, and some of you may notice this, it's almost like a cream hue around the toe and heel. Now, places like JD Sports, they're obviously authentic retailers, but there are times where they get early samples of the shoes and Jordan Brand might make a tweak to it here or there and the full production may look different. However, that isn't going to be the case. You see that cream hue that's around the toe and heel? That will be on the retail pair. So I was fortunate enough to pick these up maybe a day or two ago, and that's the number one thing I noticed. I pulled them out the box, and it is like a cream hue. So going back to my original question, did Jordan Brand mess these up? Because these are not like the OG. In hand, the cream hue does stand out. The original pair had kind of like a grayish hue to it. If anything, if we were going to call it a shade, it'd probably be platinum, but it wasn't cream like this. Furthermore, the laces, they also stand out. They almost look blue. The elephant print that's used on the laces, almost a little bit different than elephant print. So if you're looking for an exact replication on the Air Jordan 3 Pure Money, we're not getting it. The elephant print or whatever print you want to call it, the panther print on the laces, that will stand out. It almost looks out of place on the shoes. Now, I'm not sure why Jordan Brand decides to switch things up on these pairs. The Black Cat Air Jordan 3 was a bit different. It didn't feature Black Cat on the inside of the heel tab. And the print on the laces was also different. It stood out quite a bit more. Now, I will say, for some positive stuff on this shoe, it does have Pure in the money sign embroidered on the inside of the heel tab. As well, it has somewhat of a tumbled leather that's decent. It's plush, just like the Grape Air Jordan 5. So those are two things going for it, but I feel that the cream hue throws things off quite a bit to me. Now, more so, it's about you guys, right? Because you're the ones buying it. Me, I'm definitely passing after having them in hand. I feel that Jordan Brand should have kept it like the original. I'm not sure why they decided to use this type of coloring on the elephant print, but that's just my opinion. Now, as for a release date, they're currently scheduled for July 5th. And the retail price is said to be $200, but it's possible they could go up to $205 or $210. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about these changes. For me, these are a no-go. Now, a shoe for me, which is a must cop, is the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red with the black tongue. And recently, new images popped up of this pair. These are retailer photos, also from JD Sports UK. Now, this is my number one release so far for 2025. I think these look really good. I love the fact that they updated the shape, which they have been doing on the Air Jordan 5, but more importantly, the 23 font. They are finally getting it close to the OG. It's not perfect, but I'm definitely happy with it. And then, of course, the addition of Nike Air. These just look amazing to me. And this is a pair that I wish would be released sooner rather than later. Although they're going to drop in September, I wouldn't be surprised if these were delayed or something else, because September is looking a little stacked, quite a few drops. So don't be super surprised if there's like a delay or even push forward. Let's hope push forward at best. Now, these are also expected to be a GR, not going to be a limited release, so there should be plenty of pairs to go around. As well, although I don't have confirmation on this, they're also expected to be released in full family sizing. Now, as for the release date, this pair is scheduled to drop on September 13th, and right now the retail price is $210, although I believe this will retail at $215. They're going to go up $5 like the Grape 5s. But overall, I'm definitely happy with them. Way better than the 2006 and the 2013 releases. But let me know your thoughts down below. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. Now, I do plan on dropping a new video Monday. It'll probably be on the longer side. It'll be a special video, something a little different, although I've done it in the past. It is news related, but after that, later on in the week, I have some really big information that I'm going to drop. Something to do with Jordan Brand, something that some of you may really like, some of you may dislike, but that video should be out either Wednesday or Thursday. I just have to wait a little bit to leak it. But for this video, let me know what you liked or disliked down below. As well, if you have any questions, make sure to leave those down below. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.